Good morning, everyone. I sure hope you had a nice weekend and a nice week. And once again, it's nice to have you for coffee. That's my favorite thing to drink in the morning. So if yours isn't, maybe it's tea. Enjoy your tea. Once again, shout out to our Vincentians in Perryville, Missouri, and especially to those who are in need of healing there. And also shout out to people that have asked for our prayers. And I remember in a special way today Anna and her family, and Elsie, and Bill, and Clarence and Bob. I'm praying you all get better soon. Now, here's what's on my mind. It's a question. What are you afraid of? Let me tell you why that's been on my mind. This past week, I had to go to the dentist again, and I got a good one here in Lamont. Glenn is just a great dentist, but he's also a good golfer. And so, whether I'm having a root canal or cavities filled, we probably play a couple rounds of golf. So it's nice. And he's got a great staff. But as I was waiting to go in, I kept thinking about how many times people are afraid to go to a dentist. They have fear, and it's real. Or go to any doctor. A lot of times it's just, I'm afraid to find out if something's wrong. We live with fears so much. And it's like, how do you deal with it? Fear is just an unpleasant feeling. Usually it's caused by something that happened or something that brings fear because there's an imminent danger or harm that could happen. And so I develop a fear for it. It's an unpleasant feeling. And there's so many different ways we can get that feeling. It might be from objects, maybe snakes or spiders, or maybe just from circumstances that I'm in, like heights, or an elevator, or flying, or just in a group of people. And so I can get that unpleasant feeling because there's some harm or danger. How do we deal with that? I mean, what's your solution for handling the fears in life? A lot of people say, well, just face them. That's easier said than done. Or just try to deal with the fear. Now, I got to tell you, there is no way I'm going to have a pet snake. I have a fear of snakes. How do you get over it? Well, maybe sometimes you just can't. So you know what? Just avoid them if you can. When I go to Brookfield Zoo, I don't go into the building with all the reptiles. I kind of stay away from that. How about other fears, I think most of the time you can handle fears if you just get more evidence. Because a lot of times fear is just because it's unknown. It's like fear of the dark. It's because I don't know what's there. I don't have a fear of that, but I often thought that if someone has a fear of the dark, they ought to spend some time with a blind person just to appreciate and understand. I know people who are afraid to get the vaccine because they probably read or heard some stuff that you could get sick or something could happen. Well, I think if you just do more research and do a little more reading, the more information and knowledge you have, maybe some fears could disappear. Anyway, it's a reality of our life, and we need to have some kind of plan, because these feelings come up a lot. We are afraid. I was reading a story about Billy. Billy was inheriting stuff from his grandfather. And so he was going through it one day, and he found from his grandfather a journal of his father. So it would have been his great-grandfather. And he grew up out west, when it was the Wild West. And he had in his journal one day, he said, "Man, I got frightened. I was surrounded by Indians. Indians on my left and Indians on my right. Indians in front of me, Indians behind me." And so Billy says, here's what he wrote. You wouldn't believe what he did. I mean, what would you do in the midst of all that fear? My great-grandfather, here's what he did. He bought a rug. Okay, so sometimes it isn't that easy to get rid of fears. But I think we have to work at it because fear can paralyze. You can't allow that feeling to stop your life. So I always tell people, okay, learn some more. Get some evidence. Get a plan. Maybe you just got to get away. Maybe, get distracted or something. But don't let it, take your life away. And you know what? Sometimes it's just good to talk about it with somebody. But I'll tell you especially, it's worth talking to God about it. Sometimes the fear can get so overwhelming that maybe God is the only person who can help us deal with the fear. Because it's real. It's not something imagined. So, what are you afraid of? Well, first of all, figure it out. What are the things that just start to get me feeling that I can't do anything? Identify what they are, and maybe try to find out some ways to deal with them so that they don't take your life away. I think people just naturally have the unpleasant feeling of getting sick or dying. I think that's where God really needs to be a part of the plan. Spend more time letting Him help. It's just like what we do when we get together every Monday. We go to Him because there are miracles that we need. And a lot of those miracles will take care of the fears we have. So once again, take out your mission prayer so we can finish our time together praying. Divine Savior, transform me into yourself. May my hands be your hands. May my tongue be your tongue. Grant that every faculty of my body may serve only to glorify you. Above all, transform my soul and all its powers, that my memory, my will, and my affections may be the memory, the will, and the affections of you. I pray you to destroy in me all that is not of you. Grant that I may live but in you and by you and for you, and that I may truly say with St. Paul, I live now, not I, but Christ lives in me. God bless. Stay safe. Have a nice week.